So this is a little how-to for you parents out there. If your house is a little out of control, if your kids are just screaming and yelling, everybody is just, it's just chaos in the house, and you just want to slow it down, you want to kill the stress level, you know what you do? Stand in the middle of your house, take your house back, and start singing like Chad Kruger, start singing like Meatloaf, and sing to your family. Like me last night, I stood in the middle of the house and I started singing. I was like this: I promise I will always keep you safe and keep my faith. I admit I like living on the edge, but I'll keep my pledge to you know who. Rock and roll! See what happens to your house then. Let's go! Welcome to the Ben Stortini Show, where stories drift between worlds and forgotten moments find new life. Let's begin our journey. Let's go. And welcome back, everybody, to the Ben Stortini Show. I'm your host, Mr. Ben Stortini. That's BenStortini. And how are you today? I am doing great today. I feel good. It did start to get a little colder out. It started to snow a little bit, but guess what? It is almost December. Happy Thanksgiving to our American friend. USA, USA. There you go. That's all you're getting out of me. Enjoy your turkey. Enjoy your sweet potatoes. And I will see you on Monday. All right, cool. Let's get right into it. Man, I was just at the gym. Had a fantastic workout. And by the way, remember that story I told last week about that dude who was like, "You're tracking me," from Oregon, speaking of USA, Portland? His car is still there. So I parked today. I'm like, oh, there he is. So he is like posted up in this parking lot. Anyway, so I got to keep my eye on this dude. Let's get into it. So as I was walking into the gym, there's this dude smoking a cigarette outside of the door. And man, I used to smoke, right? And I just like glossed over it last episode, where, you know, with my torn bicep and how things changed after that, right? But one of the major things that happened was me quitting smoking, man. And I kind of wanted to run through how I quit smoking. And it really wasn't just smoking. So let me lay it down for you. So I started smoking in college, man. I started partying in college. I didn't do any of that in high school. None of that. I was working at Michelli's, you know, washing dishes every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, coming home smelling like fish, breaking my back at 15, 16, 17 years old, right? Never went to parties. You know, I thought I just wasn't into that stuff. But when I got to college, man, I started partying. I started drinking. I started smoking heavy, man. What was I smoking in college? Players Light, I think it was. Anyways, so I got out of college and I just continued to smoke. And I was smoking heavy and I was hooked. I was hooked like a trout, hooked like an Alaskan salmon. I was hooked like honey to bees. You know what I mean? And here I was smoking Belmont, smoking like almost a pack a day. It was awful, dude. And so nicotine was just surging through me. I just needed cigarettes. And to say the least, anybody that smoked before, like heavy, knows exactly what I mean. Especially when you're having some drinks and that cigarette and that drink. I'll admit that's one of the only things I still miss is having a cigarette and having a drink on a hot summer day. Like that is beautiful. But I'm completely against smoking. So I want to tell you how I quit smoking. Like I said, I came out of college and I just continued to smoke. It got to the point where it was like, I just felt terrible. And I went through like 3-4 times where I went months without smoking. My early 20s, I remember I just quit when I started running. I'm like, oh, I gotta quit smoking. But then it was always my silent little secret. Like on my side, I was continuing to smoke. I was even smoking, like I would go to the gym at King West Fitness with JJ. When I first started really hitting the gym hard, I'd have a cigarette after the gym. Like it was awful, dude. So it got to the point where I was like, I got to get rid of these cigarettes. So what I did is I ended up trading my addiction, my nicotine addiction. So at the time, I can't remember who it was, they introduced me to Nicorette gum. So I started chomping on these Nicorette gum. This box right here, man. So it started with this. It started with Belmonts. And I was just smoking these heavy, like a pack a day. And then I was introduced to these Nicorette gums, these 4 milligram just mint monsters you get at Shoppers Drug Mart. They helped, but basically what I did is I just traded my nicotine addiction from the Belmonts to these nicotine gums. And here I was just like a fiend going to Shoppers Drug Mart, dropping like $50 on these double value packs of these gums, right? And I'm just sitting here just chomping all the time. 2 in my mouth always, just chomping. Constant nicotine just soaring through my body. And it got to the point where I was just always jittery like this. I was just like, oh my God, like just so much nicotine in me, right? And so I'm like, I gotta quit this now. Like I'm completely hooked to these gums. So I'm like, I can't kick the nicotine. So I went and I switched over to fucking Skull Mint, goddamn, even worse, chewing tobacco. So I started doing like real old school, just putting dip in my mouth right here. And I was just like, I can still feel that sensation of putting that moist dip in my mouth, just and then spitting in a cup, like absolutely disgusting. Again, I'm just trading my nicotine addiction back and forth like a teeter-totter. I'm going up, I'm going down, and never in this point am I actually going cold turkey off zero nicotine, right? So finally I was like, okay, this is really gross. Like I started, like my breath started to stink off this skull shit. So I was like, I don't want that. Like I'm very vain when it comes to smelling good. So I like flipped back to the nicotine gum, right? And it got to the point where I was just like chewing this shit all the time. I never stopped. Sometimes I'd even go to bed with a piece of gum in my mouth, right? So what happened is when I busted up my bicep tendon, like I said last episode, I'm sitting on the couch upstairs, healing up and doing all this. And not only did I quit drinking, but that moment when I was on the couch, I believe I had a nicotine overdose. There is such thing. I've looked it up. You can look it up. But I was chewing this shit so much, I probably had like 4 in my mouth, sitting up there feeling bad for myself about my arm, right? And all of a sudden, I just started shaking. My heart started going crazy, and I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt sick. I started getting crampy. My head hurt. Everything was like all at once. And I remember thinking it was like something struck on me like a bolt of lightning. You got to quit nicotine. It's not the cigarettes. It's not the Skoal. It's not the Nicorette gums. It's nicotine. Cut nicotine out right now. And I got so scared because of how my body was reacting and just so many years of just being an addict to this shit. It took me to be really, really scared. Like my body was giving out on me. Like it felt like I was having like a panic attack / like at the time I didn't even know what panic attacks were. So it was just, my body felt like it was just teetering, and it freaked me out. So I was like, that's enough, no more. And from that day forth, not only did I quit drinking, but I quit nicotine altogether. That was the toughest thing. I've heard it before that cigarettes, nicotine specifically, is harder to quit than heroin, like heroin. Let me tell you firsthand, that shit was so hard to quit. It took me over 20 years to get that shit out of my system. It finally took me to get really scared and have something traumatic happen in my life with my arm. And for me to really be looking at myself and realize that shit right there is guiding my every decision in my days. You know what I mean? Like, it's guiding everything. I need to have that around me, so I need to make decisions in my day to make sure that I'm good on my nicotine, right? And on a side note of that, and since that day, I've never had a cigarette, no nicotine, zero nicotine. It was cold turkey, very, very hard. Took 3-4 days of just complete detox, but mentally I was ready, so I was okay with the whole everything that comes around with quitting nicotine. So, and shout out to my Uncle Danny, man. He also quit smoking. He took a different route. He was hacking so many cigarettes. I should have called him, but like it was disgusting. Like he was about to die because of cigarettes, and he went on some medicine that helped him quit, but that shit fucked with him. So he ended up just cold turkey, and he did it. So shout out to you, Uncle Danny. But I just want to say one thing. I'm seeing this on TV, man, and as you guys know, I work in advertising. How in the fuck can they be promoting and making commercials for this Zyn stuff, these nicotine pouches? It really, really, really bugs me that this shit is on TV. Like you'd be watching the Raptors game, then all of a sudden, they'll have a Harvey's commercial, and then there'll be a Zyn nicotine pouch commercial. I've been down that road. They're selling it like it's to help you get rid of your addiction to cigarettes. No, all you're doing, I promise you, for those that are listening and maybe are having issues with quitting cigarettes, don't even think about going to this shit. Do not think about going to these nicotine packs, because all you're doing is trading your nicotine addiction to another source. That's all it is. It's like if you were on crack and you're like, I gotta quit crack. You're like, Tommy over here is my dealer. He's been giving me my crack for the last 10 years. You're like, Tommy, I'm done smoking crack. No more. We're done. 2 days later, you go to Johnny over here on the next block. Just because it's from a different person, it's still crack. I wouldn't even be surprised if these nicotine pouch companies are associated with sister companies of like Belmont, whoever makes Belmont. Like it's just this terrible, terrible cycle. And anybody that smokes out there, enough is enough. Don't be stupid. Like you're actually killing yourself. So stop it. It's so bad for you. Believe me, I did a lot of research on this. Cut it out. Stop it. Smoking's for losers, dude. All right, so yeah, smoking does suck. Knock it off. Next thing, so I was talking about, you talk about addictions and everything like that, and major moments where I was able to quit smoking because I got scared, right? It started making me think about like moments where I've been scared, and I could admit that, like I've been scared. And there was this one time I was scared because it was out of my control, and I think that's a thing with me. Like if I don't have full control of that situation, it fucks with my head. If I feel like I'm losing control, then I get scared, right? And there was this one moment, man. This one's crazy. A few people know about this story, but so what happened was I had an old friend of mine. His name is Alex. He used to live at our house. He was in a situation in his life. He needed a place to stay, so we had an extra room. This is when we only had one kid. Luna was only here. He rented the upstairs room. He was here for a little too long. Let's just say that. So anyways, after it felt like, I think probably 2.5 years. I don't know. It was a long, long time. He had to go. Long story short, he left. But what he didn't take with him was something in the freezer. Let me explain. It was a Thursday night. It was a beautiful Thursday night. I believe it was in January. And my lady decided she was going to make a beautiful dinner. And she was going to make a beautiful little dessert. And the dessert she was going to make some beautiful avocado chocolate balls, right? So she started making up the chocolate balls. And I remember her asking me, she was like, do you know where the old Halloween candy is? I got to get chocolate. I want to put as much chocolate in these avocado chocolate balls as I can. Oh, let me go downstairs. I checked. Oh, yeah, a couple chocolate bars here. She's just scouring the house for chocolate. So she took all the chocolate she could find in the house and she packed it into these avocado chocolate balls, right? So she finally got them done, covered them in coconut, and they were sitting on this giant plate in the kitchen, just waiting to get eaten, right? Luna went to sleep, and I remember we were eating these salads from Loblaws, with strawberries in it. It was like one of those like real nice, clean salad, right? So we're eating that. And as we were sitting on the couch, as she was eating, she looked over at me. And with a straight face, she said, oh, I don't feel good. She looked me right in the eyes and she said, I don't feel good, Ben. I'm like, what's up? She's like, I think these strawberries in this salad are poisoned. I said, pardon? She said, I think the strawberries in this salad are poisoned. I do not feel good. And I felt fine at the time. I ate this. I'm like, I tried to calm her down. No. I just ate the same strawberries. You're probably it's nothing, right? So I go to the kitchen. I'm done my salad before her. And I go to the kitchen, I see that giant plate of avocado chocolate balls. And so I'm like, oh, I'm just going to sneak a few of these in right here. So I was like, I probably ate like 5 or 10. No, I think I ate like 10 or 15. Half the plate gone. Boom. And I sat back down, right? She's like, why don't you go get the chocolate balls? But I still don't feel so good. I'm like, oh, yeah, I just had a few. I'm like, okay. So I brought the plate of salad on the front. We started watching this documentary, right? And I swear to you, probably was like, I don't know, 15 minutes in, I started feeling that I think the strawberries in that salad are poison feeling. I looked over at her and I'm like, I think you're right. I think there's something wrong with those strawberries. I think they're poison. I think Loblaws poisoned us. That's when I knew something was up, because not only did I feel really fucked up at that moment, we both were looking at each other like something is terribly wrong. I knew it couldn't be the strawberries because it was just starting to get worse. It was snowballing. I just began to get super fucking high real quick. And I could see in my lady's eyes that they were starting to twirl a little bit. They were starting to dance. I was like, oh no. So I went into the kitchen. I looked at the salad. I'm like, no, that shit looks fresh. Like, there's something wrong. Like, well, what did I eat? I thought we were food poisoning for sure. I'm like, the salad looks absolutely fine. Nothing smells bad. Nothing looks bad. Like, what did I eat earlier? Like, oh, wait a second. Those chocolate balls. Sharon, what did you put in these chocolate balls? She's like, avocado and chocolate and coconut. That's it. Just chocolate. I said, where'd you get the chocolate from? I said, the chocolate you gave me from the basement, and the chocolate from the fridge, and the chocolate from the freezer. I said, what chocolate from the freezer? She's like, there was a chocolate bar in the freezer. A chocolate bar in the freezer, huh? Where's the package? It's in the garbage. So I go into the kitchen, open up the garbage. I look in the garbage. I pull it out. It was a chocolate bar about this big called Fool's Gold. And I look at it. It's a weed chocolate bar. Extremely high dose of THC. She took the entire chocolate bar and put it in these avocado chocolate balls. I've already had maybe 20, 25 of these things. Like I said earlier, I've been going hard on these things. I said, baby, we might die. I tried to keep calm. And that's when it all hit me. And it was never the same from that point forward. I remember looking at it going, oh no, we're in for it. We are in for it. So I tried to hold it together. I said, I told her what's going down. It's like this, we got to stay calm. She goes, I got to go outside. I got to get some air. She's outside. She's like so high. She's looking at, cause she had ate it before me. So it had hit her before me. Cause while she was cooking it, she's like, this is delicious. Licking the spoon and as bakers do. And so she's outside. She's like, I got to call my dad. I'm like, no, you're not calling your dad. She's like, we got to call an ambulance. I said, no, we don't need to call an ambulance. I said, we need to calm down. We're gonna be okay. She's like, how many did you have? I go, how many did you have? She's like, I don't think I only had 1 or 2. I go, I think I had 20, maybe 30. I'm fucked. I am fucked. So I knew I was about to go on a trip. I've been there before, but I've never been here before. And man, it just started to get worse and worse and worse. And all of a sudden, I felt the switch happen. I went to the kitchen and I stood by the kitchen door and I looked over to my left and this is what I saw. Bubble fractals just went. Time stopped. I remember thinking to myself, it felt like when I looked over at this, that's when I thought time didn't exist. The equation of it all, it made sense to me that time at this point does not make sense anymore. So you better strap in because things are going to be different for the next, they're not hours, they're not minutes. It's birth, death, who knows, right? So I remember just standing there, seeing these fractal bubbles, sitting there trying to understand why time doesn't exist. And all of a sudden I'm like, we need to do something. I was like, we need to do something. I said, we're going to do some art. So I went and grabbed some pieces of paper from Luna's art stuff in the basement. Somehow I remember everything was difficult. Getting water, it felt like a month to get that done, and it felt so difficult just to drink water. So going downstairs to the creepy basement where time doesn't exist, oh my God, somehow I managed to bring up some paper and paint. This is the artwork we did right here. I thought it was genius that this flower looked like a clock, but I'm like, no, it's a weed cookie. And I'm like, love, green, yellow, whatever, right? And Sharon just colored. She just concentrated on coloring that. What is that? A beaver? Coloring the beaver perfectly in the lines. And then I wrote, hi. You know what I mean? So that killed about God knows what in time, because at that point, time didn't matter. Like I said, all of a sudden, I'm like, I have to go on the couch. And I'm not lying to you, man. I saw white light. I was on the couch and I remember I felt like I'm dying, but I remember saying, and Sharon to this day still remembers, I'm like, just keep me alive, Sharon, keep me here, keep me present. I remember seeing the white lights and I'm in and out of these it's hard to explain. I was just seeing this room and it was a box and it was just white light. And I would go in and out of that box and I was like, oh, thank you, Sharon. I love you. Keep me here. And that felt like forever, right? Finally, the hours went by. So finally, we said, we got to go to sleep. That we both have work tomorrow, right? We meant just to have a nice little salad, some Netflix, chill, and have some avocado chocolate balls. I didn't mean to go on a fucking starship and go and travel dimensions. I got to go to work tomorrow. And I want to go to the gym. So I decided we have to go to bed. But the idea of going up the stairs, changing, getting into bed was just like, that shit's going to be too difficult, but let's go. And I remember crawling up the stairs, like just gotta make it. I gotta make it. Gotta keep my head right, get to the bed. And this is the last thing that happened, man. I swear to God, this happened. I even told my boss at the time at a Christmas party, this shit happened. Right before I went to bed, I managed to go to the bathroom. I had to take a piss and I brushed my teeth. I remember standing, looking at the toilet. I was like, you need to go lay down right now and you're about to learn something. Like it was almost like you're about to learn something. That was the feeling I was given. It wasn't like specifically like go lay down. It was like I got this feeling of I'm about to learn something. So I went and laid down in my bed. Must have been 30 seconds later. I don't know. I felt the sensation of, this is going to sound crazy, but this is what happened, man. Fool's gold, right? That my brain was reset. That I was being given an upgrade, man. I felt like my old self was being reset and I was given a clean slate. That was the feeling that was given to me. And the moment that I realized that and I felt that, everything went calm. Everything was okay at that point. And I like, I'm okay. And I just went to sleep. Woke up the next day like that shit was crazy. But I knew that the trip was so positive. I felt like a brand new me. Like it was unreal. Yeah, fool's gold, man. Dimension hopping. I will never forget that. Please be careful. And I was so mad. The one thing I was mad about was, why the fuck you leaving this mutant amount of THC chocolate bar in our freezer? You know I have a fucking kid. Like, why didn't you take that? I called him the next day and I reamed his ass out. I'm like, you almost fucking killed me, man. Anyways, reset. I'm good. It was crazy, man. How much time do we have? See, time doesn't matter, right? Let's do a quick health update before we switch worlds. I'm feeling good. I want to say that at Planet Fitness, they upgraded everything. It's a legit gym now. They have squat racks, landmines, all of the shit that my old gym Dwell had, except the only thing they don't have is a sled to push, right? But it's funny, this last week of having all the new equipment, I am sore in all the spots that I used to be sore in, but worse now. So health-wise, man, this is a great upgrade. Speaking of upgrades, health-wise, it's gonna, shout out to Planet Fitness for the new equipment. I'm feeling good, feeling strong. I'm going to continue. My goal is I'm going to go the rest of this winter just building, getting bigger, stronger. And then the moment April hits, I'm going to cut that shit out, go in a nice healthy cut. And I'm going to run a race in May. That's my plan. That's my goal. And that's what I'm going to do. So on that note, let's switch worlds. Yeah, I'll meet you on the other side. You heard me. What is time? First of all, shout out to my guy Snooze, man. He just made this beat for me. I threw this song at him, said, I want you to flip this, and he flipped this. This is Pieces of Love, I believe it's called, by a guy. Old school tune that he just destroyed right here. So shout out to you, Snooze. I want to give a quick shout out to my barber, Dylan. I was at a shop. He was able, basically, long story short, he was at one shop and some stuff happened at that shop, but then he bounced and he found himself in this beautiful new spot on Queen East near Broadview called Glassbox. So shout out to Glassbox Barbershop. Shout out to you, Dylan. You always take your time, and I really appreciate that about your work, man. You really take it seriously, and you really love what you're doing, and I can sense that. So keep doing what you're doing, man, and I really appreciate you, dude. And welcome back, everybody. And this is the Stortini verse. And as you know, in the Stortini verse, we like to dimension hop through some music. We like to dimension hop through some documentaries, which are sometimes books. And we like to dimension hop through some challenges. So we're going to do the music first, as we always do. And if I were to make a list of my top 20 albums of all time, this album is on there. And what album is that, you ask, Ben? Well, it is Soundgarden, Super Unknown. Absolutely love this album, top to bottom. It's a music time machine for me. It can take me right back to that time. Like, just the moment I listen to this shit. Let's just jump right into it, man. Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. Man, rest in peace, Chris Cornell. What a voice. Disgrace, singing by disgrace, boiling heat, summer stench, morning through the cream and you scream again. Black hole sun. Come on, man. I remember playing Keith Curry's Turbo Graphics to this shit. Shout out Soundgarden. Like I said, rest in peace, Chris Cornell. What a voice. Yeah, man. Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. One of those tunes. And next, man, what we're going to do, we're going to go to, it's one of those, you probably didn't know I listened to this shit music, right?
Esta es mi mierda, papá.
Esta es mi mierda, chico. I just developed this love of narco-corridos through this documentary right here, Narco Cultura. And the group that was on this documentary, man, that's still one of my favorite documentaries of all time, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. Narco Cultura. And one of the songs that was featured on there is what got me hooked. And, I listened to Chelino, I listened to this, I listened to that, Los Tucanes de Tijuana. But this right here, this is like the No Limit Soldiers. You remember when No Limit would put all the soldiers on one tune? This is that tune for this record label, Los Twins. I forget the record label name, but anyway. Bucanas de Culiacán. El Commander. Like I said before, just pull up to our red light, roll down your windows, play this loud, and just look at the car next to you crazy. Camouflage. Like I said off the top, man, this is my shit right here. Tune, man. Big shout out El Commander, Bucanas de Culiacán, Narco Corridos. I've explained it before and I'm not going to explain it again what that is. That's legendary shit, man. Like they said in the documentary, they were claiming they're making the new gangster rap with this shit. And let me tell you something. This is pretty close. No idea what the fuck they're saying right there, but I know they're saying something. All right, let's jump into the documentaries, man. This week for documentaries, I started watching this one called The White House Effect, so I'm going to get back to you once I finish it. It's about global warming and all that. But so I haven't really had a lot of documentaries come through me lately, but I am starting a new book. I finished that one Alone where the guy, survived in the Indian Ocean, floating for like 29 hours. And this new book I'm reading is about this British dude who walked the entire Amazon, man. It took him like 836 days or something like that, but he's walking the entire Amazon. And I just started it, but it should be pretty interesting. So I will get back to you once I finish that one. I'm really into this survival stuff, man. So I'm really packing that heat in the back of my head just in case something like that ever happens. So if you ever get lost in the Amazon or you're ever floating out in the sea and you need a tip or two, just hit my beeper, okay? Beep, 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 911. I'm at your service. And next thing, let's talk about a challenge for this week. Seeing that it is the American Thanksgiving, and with Thanksgiving, it forces the family together, and it forces everybody to kind of get along, or at least try to, right? Well, it's not our Thanksgiving, ours already passed, but why don't you go into this weekend? And if you don't have family dinners, if you don't sit around the table with, whether you have kids or you don't, or you live with your lady, whatever, sit down at the table like you used to do back in the day and have a proper dinner, man. Don't just sit in front of the TV, just have a proper dinner. Get everybody around the table. Everybody just, forks, knives, napkins on the lap. Do it proper like we did back in the day, man. We got to bring that shit back. Bring that family stuff back. And it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving that, forces you to do it. Let's just do that. So that's my challenge to you this weekend. Bring the family together, sit down, have a proper dinner, and enjoy that shit, okay? All right, everybody, enjoy your weekend. Please be safe. Thank you once again for listening. And don't forget, I love you. Thank you for listening or watching this episode. It means a lot, genuinely. And remember, new episodes come out every single Friday, so please hit subscribe wherever you're catching this pod, whether it's Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. And please hit that 5-star review, as that nudges that silly little algorithm to reach out to more eyes and more ears. So please have a great weekend, and don't forget,